Hey, how's it going out there, everyone? This is W.F.S, your doctor. Have any of you seen this show, Velma? I'm sorry, but I honestly believe that this show is the biggest embarrassment to Scooby-Doo to ever exist. And how in the hell did this thing ever get greenlit by Warner Brothers Studios is beyond me. Scooby-Doo is probably one of the most recognizable animated series to ever come out since its inception in the 60s. It's been loved by adults and kids worldwide. So why in the hell would you want to train wreck such a beautiful IP? Is beyond me. So, so we got this article here from YouTuber Yellow Flash, who says you he said he believes that the media is doing damage control for HBO Max with its woke disaster Velma. Now, before we get into the article here, I want to show you something. Now, I just pulled this Rotten Tomatoes score up for Velma right now. 47% critics rating and audience score gives it 6%. Now, that audience score, from what I understand, hasn't really changed much in the past week, but the critic score, that keeps changing. It keeps going up into the 50s, down into the 40s. But the bottom line is, this show is a wreck, and I have heard that it is one of the worst rated TV shows to ever come out since they started recording television. That's a bad sign, my friends. Velma, the inclusive Scooby-Doo reboot on HBO Max is a critical disappointment. To put it mildly, that's turning off viewers and reviewers left and right. But that hasn't stopped the media that approves of this kind of content that has no success or upside to the show for itself from desperately finding positives to defend its existence. This is just a train wreck of a show. And before I go any further, I have a question. How can you call this thing a Scooby Doo reboot when Scooby Doo isn't even in it? And if they did put him in it, what would they do to the dog? I mean, dang. They have just changed all the characters around. I mean, what is that? Daphne is like a drug dealer, and Fred is a spoiled, stereotype, white, whiny, rich boy, and Velma is just, well, look, the whole thing is a disaster. How in the hell this thing ever got off the ground, or more importantly, how did anyone in the executive board of Warner Brothers Studios let this thing get out? Is such a question. It's such a huge question that needs to really be asked. I mean, if this is the type of content that Warner Brothers believes the audience wants to see, then we need to start really re-evaluating where we're getting our content from, people, because this is disgusting. YouTube and commentator Yellow Flash demonstrated in a new video the way sites like CBR are expounding on what they perceive Velma is doing right in the name of diversity. In a recent article, the site makes the claim that the new Shaggy, Norville, is the best version of Shaggy ever. HBO Max's Velma is breaking stereotypes, pushing inclusiveness and equality, and giving fans the best Shaggy ever, it says. Well, if it's the best Shaggy ever, why did you change the name to Norville? Why? Why couldn't it stay Shaggy? Or is that not a politically correct name? Yellow Flash continued to disagree more with the response that Norville comes off as a beta male wuss who constantly pines over Velma and always begs her for a date. Overall, this Shaggy is a loser, Flash says, and far from the best version is awful, he adds, with all the woke tropes. Velma is not breaking any kind of stereotype realistically. This this is again this is terrible. What they are doing to this historic franchise is unforgivable. Now, there is a possibility as to why this show is allowed to air. Katie Kaling, um, maybe she has one of, I've heard the story that a lot of voice actors and regular actors have ironclad contracts, and the only way to really get them fired and off property is to have them make garbage that helps them lose money. So this could be the excuse to finally get her out of the way. And my apologies, my friends, it wasn't Katie, it was Mindy Kalings. CBR take is no surprise, but there are others taking the defense of Velma to a bizarre level. A left-wing conspiracy theory, for instance, admits that the show is bad, but claims that the poor quality is due to the right-wing psyops. According to the theory by Forbes writers, the criticism is fake and people are covering up Mindy Kaling's closet conservatism. Really? Or something, says Yellow Flash. Excuses, excuses, excuses. I mean, I just showed you the Rotten Tomatoes scores. This thing, no one likes it. It's bad. And that says something when even your critics out there are fighting to keep this thing above 50, but it keeps dipping back below 47. I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself that this thing is bad, but I find it so insulting that a cartoon that I grew up with has just been disrespected. Norville, right here. You can see that he's wearing the shaggy shirt, but at the same time, this just, I do not understand why they had to do this. I really don't. Couldn't you have made your cartoon without ruining a classic? Real Scooby-Doo fans were upset that their beloved franchise is being scorched, with Flash sympathizing with them. He explains that HBO Max and Mindy Kaling's desecration of Scoob is an other incited incite incident made possible by the woke effect. Every franchise, anything of value, will fall victim to Hollywood's DEI politics because they can't create anything original anymore. Scooby-Doo is only the latest one. Have any of you seen this thing? All I know of it is that the clips that I have seen, I just flat out refuse to give this show the time of day. Again, the clips that I've seen, the stories that I have heard, this thing is disgusting. Give me your thoughts, your comments on it, please. I would love to hear them. I'm W.F.S, your doctor, and until the next time, my friends, God bless.